I'm holding in my hand a rope here. People are using it to go fish out their boats because they're on their side. It all boils down to being able to prove it. We're talking physical evidence, proof it wasn't consensual and that force was used. More arrests are likely. This after the two walked out of a Florida prison using fake documents. I mean, Chastity, it felt like it was raining outside. Yeah. And what I was hearing was all the ice melting from my roof. Okay, well, that's a long way off, but something to look forward to. Well, I can tell you the security is tight, and that is because of the president's expected arrival. You can hear the excitement behind me. We've got the MAMDA parade rolling. Okay, this is the Wheel of Fortune bus. It travels with the show whenever it goes on location. I'm going to see if we can go inside and take a peek. Here's what's really going on. Criminals are searching the web looking for houses for sale. They take information in the ads, swap out the contact information with their own email address. Right, see, the procedure takes about an hour to perform, and then once they're finished, doctors will take this TR band and put it on the patient's wrist. It holds pressure on the artery so the patient can walk around more freely. And I'm Lanice Lagan, live here on Fish River, where unprecedented rains have caused a massive amount of flooding. Investigators in Florida have released new information on George Zimmerman's arrest for aggravated assault last week. According to that report, a woman told police Zimmerman threw a wine bottle at her and broke her phone. Zimmerman told police he was in a relationship with the woman, but she was the one who threw the bottle. Zimmerman was later arrested and released on bond. Since his 2013 acquittal on a second-degree murder charge in the shooting of Trayvon Martin, Zimmerman has had several run-ins with the law. Well, at first it looked like it might be passed over in the budget, but the city of Mobile may be putting some money into Hank Aaron Stadium after all this year. About $500,000 could be going to the Hank, depending on how the city council decides to proceed. Fox 10 News reporter Will Robinson-Smith following the money, joining us live at Hank Aaron Stadium with what he found out. NBA great Earvin Magic Johnson came to the community to talk about why it's so important to help underserved communities. You know, he's known for all of his efforts on the basketball court. We're talking 5 championships with the LA Lakers, not to mention all of his accomplishments with my fellow Michigan State Spartans. But today it was about something more than that. He wanted to talk to the heart of the community about why we need to help those who are really struggling to help themselves. I had a chance to talk to him before he addressed the crowd, and this is what he had to say. Talk to us about why you're here today and why it's so important.
Well, I think that, when you think about
It's been 6 months on the job for Mobile's executive public safety director. When he first came on board, he made some bold promises. Fox News gave you that exclusive interview about the Rear Admiral reporting for duty. And tonight, we're checking back in to see what's changed since he's been on the clock. Richard Landolt came on the scene in June 2014. He promised improvements to the fire and police departments and a more developed emergency preparedness plan for the city. Only days after a winter storm ripped through the Atlanta area, police arrest a man and charge him with using a stolen tow truck to steal stranded vehicles. Unbelievable, right? Well, as we told you last week, thousands of drivers had no choice but to leave their cars on the side of the highway because the city was caught off guard by a storm. A few days later, investigators say this guy, Lewis Mitchell, started going around with a tow truck and towing cars. Problem is, police say he was stealing those vehicles. He was stealing one of them, in fact, when officers noticed something was going on.
He thought the markings on the tow truck temporary license plate.
Officers say Mitchell took off running, but he was found hiding in a house nearby. He faces a number of charges. The stolen vehicles, by the way, are now waiting for their real owners. Did you watch the Super Bowl last night? It was the most watched television event in U.S. history, drawing over 111 million viewers. That breaks the record set by Super Bowl game 2 years ago between the Giants and the Patriots. It's the 4th time in 5 years that a Super Bowl game has set a viewership record, too. Last year's game with 108 million viewers was the exception. And Fox says more than 2 million people watched its online stream of the game. I didn't even know they had that. A rescue operation underway in Indonesia after a huge volcanic event. Over the weekend, Mount Sinabung erupted. That sent ash clouds with temperatures of over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit down its slopes in just 2 to 3 minutes. The ash engulfed at least one village. Many of the victims didn't stand a chance of surviving. In all, 16 people are confirmed dead, and among them, a local TV journalist, 4 high school students, and their teacher who apparently were visiting the mountain to see the eruptions up close.
One suspect is in jail tonight in connection with a brutal attack against an elderly Chickasaw man.
Our Renee Dials has been following this story. She's at Metro Live now with the latest on the investigation. Renee?
For going out of his way and ultimately saving his sight.
It's a story you'll only see here on Fox 10 News. Dr. Graff drove through last week's nasty winter storm when his patient became stranded at home. He walked several blocks just to treat him. Alcia Braggs is an 80-year-old Vietnam veteran and an amputee with a very rare eye disease. He was supposed to be treated last Wednesday after an infection, but you remember a lot of streets and highways were closed because of the ice.
Dr. Graff took it upon himself to drive. You're going to hear from the doctor and also what this meant for Alcia.
Should be a neat story. And speaking of neat stories, got to tell you about a young boy in our area trying to make a difference for hundreds of sick children this Valentine's Day. We're talking about 9-year-old Tanner Long. He knows a thing or two about illness. He suffers from a life-threatening heart condition. He says kind words and support meant a lot to him, especially to others when they're in those shoes. So this year, he's writing Valentine cards to kids in local hospitals.
The kids do not feel left out or forgotten.
The cards are part of a community service project to help Tanner achieve his black belt in Taekwondo. If you'd like to join in on the effort, you can. Go ahead and help Tanner make those cards at ATA Martial Arts. That's on Hillcrest Road. He's going to be there tonight and tomorrow from 4 till 8.
At the end of the Super Bowl last night, he was pretty comfortable, and I thought it would be the same this morning when I stepped outside.
It was not comfortable at all, Jason. On top of the cooler conditions, it was a little windy, too.
Beer drones.
Okay, well, the anglers loved it, but the FAA grounded operations. Fox's Jonathan Cho has that story.
It's a new way to drink alcohol. Just tear open the package, sprinkle the powder into water, and voila, you've got your convenient Cosmo on the go. It goes by the brand name Palcohol.
It's a revolutionary product with many innovative uses in the military, in medicine, in travel, in hospitality. Because it's so light, it's much less expensive to ship. So it has many great uses that people just don't think about. They just think about the consumer drinking it type of thing, or maybe the possible misuses of it.
I interviewed Mark Phillips, the creator of Palcohol, via Skype. Phillips says his product is ideal for hikers and others who find bottles of alcohol too cumbersome to carry. Many state leaders worry that the dehydrated booze will appeal to teenagers, and some teens say they're right.
I think it's going to be very, very popular among the underage, sheerly because of the convenience of it. I mean, they say it's going to be more expensive than regular forms of alcohol out now, liquid forms of alcohol, but I think a really big thing with adolescents and underage drinkers is the convenience of the whole thing.
That's just one of the problems critics have with Palcohol, that teens could sneak it into places they shouldn't, or even worse, snort it or eat it like candy. And underage drinking is a problem.
I don't think it matters what shape or form the alcohol comes in. I think kids are still going to drink no matter what.
Abuse by teens is just one concern. Sifting through the web, we've found headline after headline about the Palcohol controversy. The conversation even made its way to Dr. Oz.
But it does taste like vodka.
But it's vodka. There's no question about it.
It's vodka.
That's right.
I'll keep sipping this while you talk.
Okay, that's right.
Half a dozen states have already banned Palcohol, and others are considering action too. Alabama's not on the map, though. Lawmakers say the state is catching up, so you could end up seeing it in your favorite stores.
Unfortunately, it's possible. Sometimes when you see a major issue like this come to the public's attention and we get some communications about it from our constituents, we start moving faster. So I hope that we have some public awareness about this, public comment, and maybe that'll get Congress to move quicker, because we need to move quicker.
And so there's concern that adults could misuse this too, that they could take the powdered alcohol and add it to an already alcoholic beverage, make their drink a little stronger, and that's something restaurant owners say could put them at risk too.
It definitely, from an operator standpoint, you know, where we have liability, over serving people, you know, on our license. It's scary to think that somebody may come in and be able to spike their own drinks easier and get further intoxicated.
Why would anyone choose to spend an hour of pain and misery snorting all of this powder to get one drink?
Phillips has addressed those concerns in a YouTube video. He says alcohol is painful to snort and more expensive than liquid booze.
Not all states are banning your product. I know that you just had a veto actually on a ban in Arizona.
You know, millions of people want to buy this product. They want to use it responsibly. Many businesses want to use it. And I don't think it's the legislature's responsibility to deny citizens and businesses the chance to use a legal product. They shouldn't be imposing their values on it.
Congressman Burns says it's about safety, not values.
I think this is a danger for our young people, and I think we need to take strict regulatory action against it.
So you're in the market for a house. Why not look on the internet? After all, you can find anything online these days, right? Unfortunately, you're not the only ones looking. Others are out there too, looking to score your money. So tonight we're exposing online rental schemes and giving you the tools to protect yourself. It's a Fox 10 News special report.
Susan Caver has taught in the Baldwin County school system for a long time. She's seen a lot in the classroom over the years, but little did she know she was about to learn something new. It all started when her house sold faster than expected. She and her husband needed a temporary place until their new home was ready.
My son called and said, "Mom, go look hotpads.com, and I think there's a house that might just be perfect for you and Dad."
She found the perfect rental house on hotpads.com. It looked fine, the location was ideal, and the $600 to rent was a steal. The supposed landlord wanted an application, a $600 deposit plus first month's rent, then the couple could get the keys.
Whoever it was began to tell me that their husband was a medical doctor in Longwood, Florida, and that they would be there about 3 years, and they really were searching for someone who would just rent the house and take care of it like it was their own.
But the house isn't for rent, and the real owners don't live in Florida. They live in Baldwin County, and they say they're selling their house for $175,000.
We were, I guess, kind of floored, if you will. But other than that, I mean, we really didn't know what to think.
So here's what's really going on. Criminals are searching the web looking for houses for sale. They take information in the ads, swap out the contact information with their own email address. They then post that bogus information on a real website and sit back and wait for an unsuspecting renter to take the bait.
We went to the Baldwin County Realtor Association to see if they knew what was happening. We talked to the Vice President, Martha Taylor.
And it's always like this home should be renting for at least $1,200 or $1,300 a month, and it's showing up as $800 a month.
So that's how they hook them.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what they do.
Taylor told us these rental housing schemes are a real problem in Baldwin County, and it's not just bad news for people looking to rent. As a result, many shocked homeowners receive knocks at their doors from people who are planning to move into what they thought was their new rental home.
We have a company that had a brand new listing in Spanish Fort, and it appeared on Trulia as a rental, a very low price rental. And unfortunately, the house is occupied, and people are showing up at their door.
Taylor says real estate agents flag the bogus ads and try to get them taken down.
The company that I'm dealing with now, they've spent hours trying to get it stopped, and I've spent hours and
just trying to get that one house off.
Just trying to get that one house, and it's still there.
First, agents have to find the various .coms where the fake ads are listed. They then have to contact the website, which in many cases don't have a phone number. But surely these individuals are being prosecuted, right?
In some of these countries that are host to these, it's not even a crime in their country to do what they're doing. So there's very little we can do a lot of times.
Baldwin County Sheriff Huey Halsmack told us there haven't been any local prosecutions because criminals are just too hard to track, and most of them are outside of the U.S. It's one of the many growing pains in a growing county. Baldwin County has seen a population increase of 30% over the last 10 years. With so many new projects, the county has become a bullseye for paper crime.
I think we're going to see an increase. There's no doubt about it.
To keep up, law enforcement realizes some changes need to be made.
A lot of times an internet-based fraud is a faceless crime. You're looking at a computer screen, but you really don't know what's behind that computer screen. And so I think law enforcement is going to have to become better prepared to work crimes from the desktop, so to speak, opposite our traditional role, which has been out in the communities and things of that nature.
The sheriff says investigators are being trained in computer forensics. But when it comes to the internet, you might be your best protection. Only deal with local landlords. Be suspicious about using wire transfers. It's hard to get your money back. Third, consider typos and poor English a red flag. And finally, research the rates in that area. If the rental comes in suspiciously low, just walk away. It's called being diligent, a lesson Susan can teach us all.
It angers me that we cannot get online and feel safe this day and time. Will I ever go to Hot Pads or use Craigslist? Or not me. I'm through with that kind of stuff, you know. Going to be more protective of myself online.
Yeah, and sadly, it's not just happening in Baldwin County. It's happening everywhere, really. If you come across this crime, report it to the Federal Trade Commission. We'll get a link to the form up on our website for you, fox10tv.com, on how you can do that. But bottom line, all the experts say, if you know something's too good to be true, chances are it is.